Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're getting our final review of Wallflowers by Jinjer. So, a week has gone past and we've listened to Wallflowers as much as we possibly could. I think I'll hand the floor to TV Fish. Curious to know what you think.
Well, the album's good. I'm gonna say that now. This is a good album, and we felt that way last week because I found a lot of people were kind of, bagging on us like, oh, you guys think it sucks. What do you mean it's basic? To lay it out, or at least I don't know what you think right now, but at least what I thought last week and what I think right now, it's a good album and it's enjoyable. So I'm putting that out there right now. Do not get it twisted. I like this album. However, I do find that I was trying to figure out what made me feel the way I felt last week. Because last week we both felt that it was kind of just a standard sounding Jinjer album and it really lacked a kind of specific tone. But I went back and listened to Macro again. I checked out, not only checked out our Macro review when we reviewed that album, but also listened to Macro again, and that gave me a really nice perspective on Wallflowers. Wallflowers is a lot more of a dark, sad, bit more angry. I felt like Macro was a lot more, a lot brighter of a sound. Wallflowers is way darker. So I do really like that there actually is a defined tone here. I guess I just needed to brush up on my Jinjer to properly see it. However, there are some songs that I kind of just felt sounded like standard Jinjer and didn't really feel like anything super special to me. And a good example of that is Colossus, the second track. Every time that song was on, it was fine and I was enjoying it, but nothing really stood out much to me. It was just kind of like, okay, this is fine. This is good. Yeah, you said basic Jinjer. Once again, basic by their standards. Yeah. It is still a complex, interesting, and cool song, but this is a band with pretty high standards because they make fantastic music. So that's kind of our perspective here. So, I think the biggest highlight of this album is Tatiana's vocals. She kills it here. Yeah. There's so many moments on this album where I'd hear some kind of crazy harmony she does and think, wow, there's so much layering here going on. Yeah. And the growls are some of the deepest I've ever heard from her as well. So I feel like she really stepped up her game for this record, and I thought she did a fantastic job. For sure. What else? The riffs in Call Me a Symbol and Disclosure were pretty good. And that's one thing I was kind of starting to pick up throughout the week. Some riffs I was digging, some songs I was overall like, yeah, this is actually pretty good, as opposed to it's fine. The syncopated part in Copycat is still fucking amazing. Every time that part comes on, I think, oh, this is the Jinjer I really like, But throughout the week, there's a few songs that I actually did generally enjoy. I still really like Vortex. Might still be my favorite song in the album. The title track, or as close enough to a title track as you're going to get from this album, drop in the plural, Wallflower. I like that one as well, and it has a similar tone to Vortex, kind of being a lot more softer, a lot more room going on, because Jinjer's a somewhat dense band when you listen to them. Yeah, very. I also like Disclosure, Copycat, As I Boil Ice, and as interesting as it seems, Mediator. So when we checked out Mediator for the first time and we reacted to it, we both felt it seemed like typical Jinjer. But I really like that stop-go shot they do at the beginning. Yeah. I like that a lot. It's a little gimmicky, but yeah, it's okay. And, I think it would be an amazing thing live. They could definitely do something with it to make it cool, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing them do that live, because we are going to be seeing them later this year, so yeah, that's going to be sick. But another thing I really like about that song is that it really fits the sad tone. You listen to the melodies from Tatiana's voice there, and it's just a really kind of depressing sound, and it fits the tone of this album really well. And I found it to be a pretty good closer, but at the same time, every time that song came on and finished, I'm like, oh, it's over? It kind of felt like there was going to be more. So maybe the conclusion of the song might not be the best to conclude an album, but I do think the song is actually pretty good. Yeah. So a couple of things you mentioned about the album feeling sad and having kind of a darker tone, maybe a depressed tone. I definitely got that vibe as well, so I definitely agree with you on that. And I think it's a product of the pandemic, to be honest. But I don't know if it's intentional or not. That's what I was trying to figure out. I'm pretty sure the song Wallflower is about the pandemic. And
At least based on the words, that's the...
When I hear this life is on lockdown, that kind of immediately makes you think of that, right?
It gives you that, exactly. So, does the whole album, though, have this darker tone because we were living in a bit of a dark time and they're trying to use that as fuel for the album? If that's the case, then they did what they set out to do. But if they're just writing in their homes, during the pandemic and they're just in a shitty mood and it's translating to their music, that's slightly a different thing. Not necessarily a worse thing, but I just think it does reflect that way. But ultimately, I do think this is among Jinjer's worst work. That doesn't mean it's bad. Okay? Again, this is a phenomenal band. This is a top tier band. Out of all the bands that are out right now, these guys are top of the chain, as far as I'm concerned. One of them. But they produce such better work than this, in my opinion. So my problems with the album are a couple things. Number one, there's not enough things to really say in this video, okay, that hasn't already been said. All the songs are good, there's no bad songs, but like, what really stood out to me? Not a lot. The vocals, which TV Fish mentioned, are the highlight of the album. I think that's to be expected with this band. A lot of people like this band specifically because of the vocals. There's a lot more to be said about the musicianship and all that stuff, but the vocals definitely highlight the music. So songs like Disclosure, which is one of my highlight tracks, she does the little woo at the beginning, which I fucking love. And just the tone of her voice. She's got a perfect pitch. She's just good range. She's got different types of voices she does, different styles, and she's very versatile. That's awesome. I love that shit. You mentioned some of the layering she does, the self-harmonizing. That's great stuff. And that's throughout the whole album. Awesome. But then you get to songs like As I Boil Ice, which I think is probably my second favorite song on the album. Or maybe my first favorite, I'm not sure. But that song starts and I'm like, yes, like this, the way it kicks off is fucking awesome. Just brutal, just to the point, ass-kicking music. And then I get lost. I honestly, I've tried listening to this whole song specifically so many times, and my mind about halfway through just starts wandering. I just start thinking about something else, and all of a sudden, Mediator starts, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to pay attention to the end of As I Boil Ice. So I don't even know what it sounds like. Honestly, I've heard it, but
that was me with Colossus. I had that same kind of experience.
It's the same with a lot of the songs, but I specifically picked that one because that's the one where I like the beginning a lot. Mm-hmm. So I went, okay, I want to hear the whole song and really be able to tell you guys what I liked about the whole song. But the second half just keeps falling flat for me, and that happened with a lot of the songs. Vortex is a song that I liked on my first impressions. I liked the music video when we reacted. I even watched a professional vocal coach do a reaction video to that song, and it made me appreciate it more. But through the week, listening to Vortex, it started to kind of die down on me, and it started to become the least favorite song. Maybe I overplayed it. Maybe I grew out of it. I don't know. But that kind of went down on my list, and As I Boil Ice went up on my list. Disclosure went up on my list. Copycat's another one that was pretty good. But overall, the album felt pretty average. Not a lot of great things that I can say here.
Yeah, I guess we kind of share that sentiment. But I guess now is a good time for us to rate it, so I will rate it. Once again, this band does not make bad music, and this is far from a bad album. It is a well-made album, sets out a specific tone, but I feel like some songs kind of struggle to really grab me and feel memorable. And if you wanted to compare to an album like Macro, almost every song on Macro felt like it was memorable in some way, whereas it wasn't really the case with this record. Yeah. But regardless, it's still good, and I did generally enjoy it, so it's going to get a 6.5 from me.
Just take all of his words, put them in my mouth, and have them come out again. It's getting a 6.5 from me as well. We feel the exact same way about this album, which is pretty rare. Usually we have some differing opinions, but I think, yeah, this one we're pretty solid on. So 6.5 across the board. And we might get some hate for that because I know a lot of people really, really love this and we're expecting it to get 2 toe tags, but didn't hit the mark this time. Anyways, guys, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think, if you agree with us or not. We're always eager to hear what you guys think about it. But that's it for this video. So subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Like it if you liked it. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
I'll see you guys on the next one. Keep those heads banging.